Hello, my name is Mervyn Richards and I'm a member of the task force that's delivering what we're going to be looking at today, which is BIM Level 2 for the government. So what is BIM Level 2? I think most of you have seen this graphic that represents what we're trying to do around the government requirement to deliver BIM Level 2. There are many videos and other information available on the web, all of them telling different stories about this particular requirement. So this is about a mandate from government to reduce the waste in our industry, which is represented at 20 to 30% of the outturn project costs. There has, over the last 20 years, also been the development of lots of CAD and CADD systems, computer-aided design and drafting. And whilst these have been used quite extensively in our industry, they have a claim to say that they produce better drawings. They don't necessarily help us to overcome the problems in our industry, and that is of inaccurate, incomplete and ambiguous information. The graphic itself is showing us how we can move from the analogue situation we're in at the moment in CAD through 2D, 3D, and now into what we're doing with object-oriented systems called Level 2. And what we're trying to do is to get everybody in the industry up to Level 2 using the standards and processes you see below. How do we represent waste in our industry? Well, if we take, certainly over the last 10 years, let's say, CAD produced drawings and we overlay them, then we will see that we have some differences between, let's say, the architectural and structural information. We see these differences, this lack of coordination, usually dimensionally, sometimes in the general geographic positioning of information itself. Everybody has told us that CAD in 2D would overcome this problem. It has the potential to overcome it, but it's never been used successfully. What we are now being told by the software vendors and the people who deliver the technologies to us, that don't worry, all of our problems will be solved in 3D. Well, this is not actually true. We can have a look at 3D projects being produced by different disciplines, and we still see those different ambiguities in the coordinated information. One system hitting another system, and actually we are not getting any real return on the use of these technologies in overcoming these problems. The first step towards solving a problem, unfortunately, is that we must first recognise it. And usually our response to recognising a problem is to just bury our heads in the sand and hope that the problem will actually go away. If we can actually agree and accept that there is a problem, and we can have a look at how we can overcome those, then we can move forward. If we have a look at the information that has been generated over the years during research, we see what we're looking at here in this 20 to 25% overspend. One is in cost, and for the construction industry in the UK, £44 billion. Our overspend is most likely around £8,800,000, which is everything you and I, our taxes, we're having to pay for this to get our hospitals, schools, etc. This is not something unique to the UK. The US has a bigger problem where they represent their waste at around about 30%. And indeed in the EU, 80 billion euros has actually been measured as the waste due to non-quality information throughout the European construction industry. This figure was actually presented by the European Construction Institute a couple of years ago, chaired by Sir John Egan at that time. Over the years, construction industry research has demonstrated, and it goes back a lot further than this, that the waste in the industry has been consistent. We know where it is. The 1976 reports from the BRE show us where they are. The Latham and Egan reports have also demonstrated how we may overcome it, what things we should attack. And by and large, the reaction from the industry has been to don't worry about it, let it go away, everything will be okay. And it isn't until we get to the 1990s with the projects at Heathrow Express and again at Terminal 5 that we actually have an opportunity with Sir John Egan's help to move forward and develop new processes and processes to use more effectively the technologies we have in hand. The first of those was a CPIC, CPI Construction Project Information Committee publication called Production Information in 2003. Taking what we had learnt at BAA and through that production information, we were given funding by the government on a DTI project which was called Avanti. Let's take what we know and show that it works. So this was the opportunity to actually do something and prove that the situation could be overcome. The DTI project was feeding off the background information from Heathrow Express tunnels during the collapse around about 1994-95. What happened there was that the tunnels for the Heathrow Express going into the Heathrow terminal actually collapsed during their construction. And in the recovery, certainly Sir John Egan, who was CEO at the time, wanted to use some different methods of design coordination and also look at the delivery of the project to get it back online and to try to reduce the losses that were going on. On that project, we developed some new ways of working, some new methodologies which eventually became known as the Common Data Environment. And this was published or used on the DTI Avanti program to test those methodologies to see whether they could actually be scaled upwards or downwards, depending on the project type. What we did was, these are three of the projects that we looked at and basically went on as consultants to teach people, educate them, and to mentor them through the Avanti program, with a third-party activity being carried out by another procured team to measure what we had done as the party, not part of our team, to measure what we had done to show that it was accurate, capable and sustainable. The first of these was actually Endeavour House. This is a building at Stansted Airport, 1999. It was one of a series of 5 projects, once again pushed out by Egan. It was part of the Egan Challenge. And some of the outcomes of that project was £365,000 savings, around about 9.8% of the project costs, 4 weeks reduction in construction time, and it tested the processes at Terminal 5 and Heathrow Express. If we understand that 50% of our projects today come in over cost, then this represents quite a considerable saving. It does, in fact, at 9.8%, represent 50% of the expected overspend. So quite a considerable move forward. From this, what we were able to do was to take the methodologies that we had tested and proven that they would save costs. We developed and produced the BS 1192-2007 document. And BS 1192-2007 is proven to reduce waste by 20%. So looking back at what is the construction mandate for April 2016, this is the development process that we want to do using CPIC, the Avanti documents, BS 1192-2007, other user guides, to actually move our industry forward, to coordinate and collaborate together to ensure that we can deliver good quality information. And that is the whole idea and concept behind the mandate, which asks for one other thing, and that is to deliver the information digitally so that it can be used throughout the construction life cycle.